I think Irembo customers are different, but yet almost similar to the customers that I have seen before. But what's unique, though, is in the technology business is that you are digitizing public services.
Yes.
And how goes the segments? Yeah. In banking, you have different segments. You have business, you have retail, you have corporate, and those customers have particular services or product catered for them.
Yes.
You even have women, and you have youth. You have all different products.
Welcome to the Voice of CX Africa, where Africa speaks and the world listens. I'm your host, Stephen Kagame. And today, I'm joined by a very wonderful guest. And guess what's fascinating about this guest? She holds two simultaneous roles, one of which being the head of customer experience at Equity Bank Rwanda and the secretary of Kigali City Council. She's been transforming government digital services for 5 years, having worked for Irembo. And now she is reimagining customer experience in banking. Here's the catch. McKinsey reports that African banks achieving CX excellence see 20% revenue growth. I guess you had that. And not only that, they achieve 30% cost reduction. Harvard Business Review further buttresses the same reality, telling us that the next wave of CX innovation is going to come from emerging markets, Africa being one of them. So please, join me, make welcome Liliose Nina Wingindi. Liliose, it's a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thank you, Stephen, for having me. After quite a bit of time, but we are here.
It's been patience.
Yes.
If there's anything I've exercised, it's patience. You've taught me patience, and I think it's really good that you've made time to join us today. So why I wanted you on the podcast was because of one, you've literally traversed a number of sectors, from hospitality to digital government services, and now banking.
Yeah.
And now governance as well, because I imagine you are simultaneously running two roles.
Yeah.
I would love to understand how you manage to balance the two, looking at how banking is very taxing. You wake up thinking about banking customers, and then on the other day, you're thinking about governance, city governance, and public sector related issues.
Yeah.
How do you manage to balance those two areas, and how does that also help your customer experience journey, if you will?
I think it's not as challenging as it used to be at the beginning.
Yes.
And then I think everything is related to how you plan, how you understand
Yes.
what you're going to do for the week. You mentioned how did I arrive here?
Yeah.
I think my journey is quite an interesting one.
Yeah.
Starting with, so I finished high school in the US
Yes.
and also college. And I worked there for 10 years for a company called CarMax. So that's really where my career started. But in school, interestingly enough, I studied management information systems. But that was me changing my major, because when I started college, I wanted to do computer science. But once I did, people will know C++, one-on-one, I was like, this thing, you code, you don't see people,
Yes.
it's not interactive, it was boring. So I looked at how can I still wanted to understand technology, it was a new thing back then. So the management information system had a business aspect to it. So you learn business management, marketing, and really different ways. So you know that as an MIS, you will interact with people, so, which was good. So I ended up really liking marketing in the middle. So I minored in marketing and French, but I think French was more of a selfish reason, because French speaking. But when I finished school, I worked for CarMax. It's a retail.
Yes.
Company that sells and buy cars. So I learned how to sell cars, which is very difficult. If you can master that, I think you can even sell anything.
It's a high value item.
Yes.
Yes.
So I became a manager. I learned how to be a sales manager, how to coach people, how to train people, how to turn people into salespeople. And with that also you learn customer service, right? How do you treat people, complaints handling, all different aspects. So when I left after 10 years, I wanted to come back home. So I had
So that was outside.
Yes,
home.
I had given myself a year. So in 2015,
Yes.
I gave myself 1 year. I always wanted to come home. Let me try it and let's see what happens. So when I came, I took first, we all need that time off. Took a few months to understand how the city is now.
Yes.
So I started working for Golden Tulip, Yamata.
Yes.
As a director of sales and marketing. But I didn't stay there for too long. The drive was a bit longer. So I was introduced to KCB, so banking.
Banking comes in at that time.
Banking comes in. So I joined as a senior customer experience manager. They didn't have the department.
Yes.
So everything was to build from scratch. So I will say, for me, that's where the journey for customer experience started.
Yes.
And understanding what is it about it, the difference between that and the service, customer service.
Yes.
They wanted to elevate service, so it meant that beyond the service for you to give someone money at the teller line to open an account, what's the experience we should be designing? How do we should make someone feel? How do we look at these processes?
So that was KCB.
That was with KCB.
Yes.
So we built a few things. We've done a lot of trainings. After 4 years, I went for a technology company called Irembo.
Yes.
Again, I was starting from scratch.
Really?
You will see a pattern here very shortly.
Yes.
So during that time, pandemic started. It was
2020.
Yes. So I joined about January of 2020, and pandemic surely followed right around March.
Yes, that was March.
But Irembo had to work anyway during the pandemic. But I think at the beginning, we adopted very quickly on how we should work.
Yeah.
And actually, I think with COVID period, it allowed us to change our platform.
Oh, so COVID was an enabler.
It was an enabler because we didn't have a lot of traffic.
Yes.
People were not asking for service, and there was a project to localize our platform.
Yes.
So we were able to move from the platform we had to local built, and of course, look at the kinky things, processes, business re-engineering afresh. Because really the goal was to make sure that someone can apply for a service end-to-end without leaving their home, to have to go and make a payment and then go back to the sector office. So I think the good win was the local government services that was digitized then when we moved to the new platform, end-to-end. So a marriage certificate, you could apply and get it online. The birth certificate.
Passport.
So I think that was really a good experience for us. But then we moved on to, once the pandemic ended, so we were in a bubble. So once the pandemic ended, now the platform is being
The
utilized.
traffic just grew.
The traffic grew. There was a lot of challenges.
Yes.
So we had to sit and build internally processes that enable us to improve, to fix incidents, to fix bugs, and
Yes.
how do we hold each other accountable as a team.
Mm.
And through that process, we really realized that if we don't understand what the citizen wants, then whatever we are building will always have an issue.
Yes.
Because you can't build according to what the engineer wants.
Yeah.
It has to be what really the user you are doing it for.
Mm.
So then the customer experience became the center. So business reengineering at the start to the end, even approving the service to go live. They will ask, did CX look at it? Did CX approve? If they didn't approve, please go back.
Yes.
Or we can even say, this didn't meet our requirement. Please look at this. The journey is difficult. Why are we still asking for a copy of an ID?
Yes.
Where the user has used the ID to start, to apply in the first place.
Meaning all details are captured already.
Yes. So there was a lot of that. So
Yes.
through those, I think for me, what keeps driving me to look at the way CX is evolving is to see the change.
Yes.
Is to see slowly people adopting and to see how we can actually make a difference. I think customer service is where people see it as a cost,
Yeah.
as, they only handle complaints.
Yes.
But the customer experience is a strategy.
It's
It's part of the strategy.
Wow.
It has to be. Because they should be the one that tell you if the product you are designing actually makes sense. You could have a very good product, but the journey for the customer to purchase or to use,
Yes.
it's tiresome, and it won't make business. You will still do the customer service,
Yes.
but you will not get the business as you're looking for, and you will see the customers are usually now very vocal about it.
Yes.
So for me, it's just a challenge to say, what difference are we making
Yes.
at the strategy table?
Yes.
And how do we enable the business to progress in a positive way by really being the voice of the customer in the
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow, that's really covered even my next questions. I like how elaborate that was. But what I hear about your experience is that you've been in the trenches. You literally know where everything starts. I mean, sharing your car experience, selling high value items, and how you can get a customer to buy a car. I feel like that gave you a picture of how to deal with customers. And now that also takes into the sales, director of sales. I see you've been navigating very many leadership roles. That means you have been at the wheel of many decisions, if you will. So you've talked about Irembo, and I think that was my next question. How has your experience with Irembo affected how you understand customer experience on a company perspective, but also on a national perspective, having worked for sort of like a public entity, even when I think it was sort of like privatized, or I would love to understand more about that. But also my question here is basically, how did Irembo affect how you looked at customers from your previous experience to also your current experience as well?
I think Irembo customers are different, but yet almost similar to the customers that I have seen before. But what's unique, though, is in the technology business is that you are digitizing public services.
Yes.
And how goes the segments? Yeah. In banking, you have different segments. You have business, you have retail, you have corporate. And those customers have particular services or product catered for them.
Yes.
You even have women, and you have youth, you have all different products.
Yes.
So, but what was different is that there's segment. It's everyone. All the
You're serving
14
an entire
million, yes,
population.
you're serving the whole entire
Wow.
population. But it's also the ability to know how can you make sure that the digital literates and the digital illiterates all find themselves looking at the service the same way.
Yes.
Because you cannot customize the
Yes.
service accordingly, but you
Yes.
can simplify that everyone can use the service. And I think that's the journey for me that made me realize that product uptake and utilization,
Yes.
depending on how you have designed and how you have also created adoption.
Yes.
There's a part of adoption also that comes into play in terms
Yes.
of educating a customer. And I also realize when a customer is educated, they tend to understand better than being frustrated.
Okay.
Sometimes complaints comes from not being able to know or having a difficulty to access a product.
Yes.
And also our ways of thinking on their behalf and then we shall design because it's cool to have, oh, this feature should be nice, but did we really ask the customer if this feature is cool?
Yes.
Or is it built for that 0.5% of the customer? So it's, for me, what I've taught me is digitization is excellent because it improves the processing, re-engineering of the service, but it comes with a journey of how you ensure your customers are adopting. So the customer also have to have a voice on how they see the services.
The product,
and the product that you're providing.
Yeah. That's amazing, and I would love to understand because when you look at the product adoption, you talked about uptake. We normally get a lot of pushback, especially when new systems are brought on the market, and that's pretty much because whenever change is happening, there is always a bit of resistance. I would love to understand whether when you're rolling out your first products, because you talked about how someone would get a marriage certificate online without having to knock at different doors. How did you deal with pushback in that period? Was it there in any way? If you want to maybe give us some.
The pushback that was there was that it was not perfect.
Yes. Yes.
So there was a challenge of the network, the system, the technology. We were still also learning.
Yes.
But once that was corrected
Yes.
and things were really, really running well, I think the challenge we had was that now, how do we educate our users that the things have become simple?
Yes.
Yeah. How do we now talk about the adoption?
Yeah.
So that people know, oh, you can actually apply for that marriage certificate on USSD.
Yes.
You can do that birth certificate on USSD. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
So we came up with a campaign that did that. And because of the campaign, the mindset of the citizen changed.
Yes.
Literally overnight. But again,
how long was that?
The journey of the launching the campaign also gave us more of understanding.
Oh, okay.
I think sometimes when you are cooked in a bubble, you plan and you think, surely we have all this technology. But if you go to the rural area, how is it that you're going to teach people to adopt? And for us, it taught us that to move with technology, yes, you can move ahead. You can even do the AI, but are your target market understanding that? How do you move? So you move slowly. You add one thing, you see how it goes, and you add another thing because people have to be able to digest the technology that you are adding. But again, does it really speak to the customer?
Yeah.
For example, today at the contact center, our customers want to speak to us.
They still want to make that call.
Yes,
and
they still want to have
hear a voice behind it.
They want to air out either the compliment or the complaint.
Yes.
But surely, what we have done is adding IVR to give you few information slowly will help people adopt to AI.
Okay.
Yeah, but it cannot be done overnight. But surely, we'll make sure that over time, people will integrate.
Yes.
But today, we know they still want to talk to us, and we are here to listen. You cannot switch that overnight.
I know it takes time. Behavior
So,
change
yes,
it's a
behavior
process.
change, it's a process.
Yeah.
But again, it's also how you introduce and educate your customers to it. Yeah.
Having moved from Irembo into banking, what's the biggest assumption that you had that was debunked when you got into banking?
I was first in banking for 4 years, and then I went to technology.
Yes.
And then
I
went back to banking.
Yes.
I think the biggest assumption I had was that we have advanced a lot in technology.
Yes.
But we haven't yet. Yeah, there's a lot to be done around there.
There's a lot of work to do, yes.
But there's also a lot of work that's being done to really move customers on digital.
Yes.
So that they get the fast service. For example, today our app can, you can literally do almost all the transaction. But what we are realizing as of late is that most of our customers don't know that. So you can transfer even internationally on our app.
Really?
But we still have customers who come to the branch. So
there's an information gap.
So this year, the goal, we were talking about planning.
Yes.
So this year is to ensure that we educate and get our customers on board to adopt digitally.
Yeah.
And then I think that can also eliminate maybe about 50% of queries we get when people walk into our branch.
Yes.
Or even branch queues. We are looking to reduce those so that wherever you are, you transact and you don't have to come to the branch.
Yes.
There are people, though, who still want to have that human interaction. They are welcome. But for those who really want to be on the phone, digitally, or on their computer, we are also catering for them and making sure they know that those products are available.
Yeah, and I think that also takes me to the part of recently I was reading a report and they were like, Africa is becoming the hotspot with the youngest population, if you will. Yeah. And I think Rwanda is pretty much having a similar demographic as well. We're having very many young people, digital fast movers. Yeah. They call themselves digital natives. How is the bank that you work for, Equity, managing to deal with those changes in terms of demographics? You look at younger people are now in the marketplace. That means they have a bit of income to transact. How are you creating that bit of a balance, not leaving the Gen X and the rest of our forerunners, but how are you creating that experience that is omni-channel, where everyone, whatever channel they decide to use, they're able to get a consistent experience with the bank?
That's exactly that. We are looking at the services and digitizing.
Yes.
Our next project is on digital onboarding.
Yes.
So, and that speaks to that. Do you really have to come to the branch to open an account end to end? Can you also have that digital account and be able to ask for a loan? Yeah. So those are the things that we are looking at to enable now for the youth who might not even want to step in a branch ever to be able to adopt. Again, we'll still have the similar services in the branch anyway. For those people who want to come and hang out with us. So the service in branches also as well is being improved.
Yes.
Where are the pain points?
Yes.
How do we, using the journey mapping?
Yes.
How do we look at these processes and touch point of where the customers are? And then how do we see the pain point, the complaints, the feedback we get? Yes. And then enable the improvement. But most of the time when people say, oh, it takes too long. So how do you do it? You have to digitize and get people to adopt. And those who still want to come, how it takes long, how the bank associate that's going to help you, how many systems do they look at? How do we also empower them? Yes. To enable them to move a bit faster for the customer. Yeah.
That's amazing. You've talked about something that I found interesting, how you get feedback from clients and are able to make the necessary changes to suit their needs. Do you think institutions are doing that in the way they should? Do they understand what their customer is saying? You talked about the voice of the customer, and I've noticed lately collecting feedback has become like part of a to-do list. It's more like it's part of what we are supposed to do.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actioning the feedback, there's a lot of delay in doing that. People are laid back. I don't know whether it's just.
I don't think it's people. I don't think it's that the people are laid back. I think it's understanding the benefits.
Yes.
And the opportunity to get the feedback.
Yes.
How we should use that feedback to enable improvement.
Yes.
I think generally the challenge we have, I don't think it's necessarily also the feedback we collect. It's also, do we understand how we build the right experience for someone?
Yes.
I will give an example. A very simple one
Yes.
that we encounter almost every day,
Yes.
that everyone can relate to. When you go to a supermarket, there's someone that greets you
Yes.
and helps you with your basket.
Yes.
Sometimes a bit forceful, but they help you.
They help you, yes.
So when they finish to help you, what do they do mostly? They take that basket, they skip people who are already at the line, they place the basket at the front.
Yes.
What message do you think they are giving to the person who they're helping and also the person who's being helped?
For me, it only shows that there's no authenticity in your service, because if at all you're delighting one of my customers and then you are literally disrespecting those that came earlier, that means there's a problem.
But the associate who's helping you, for them, they're giving you absolutely the best experience.
Yes.
Isn't it? So if we're not even aligned on that, so you see the challenge we have if
Yes.
we get the feedback.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot that we need to see and understand in general.
Yes.
Even for ourselves as customers.
Yes.
How you ask and expect the services to be. We call it care. We don't call it experience.
Yes.
We call it care.
It's care, yes.
So are you really looking for the care, or are you actually looking for a way to enter that supermarket? Whether someone asks you if you want them to help you in a most polite way, and then when they are with you, they don't pick the tomatoes for you. They wait for you to ask for their opinion.
Yes.
And then they help you when they get to the line. Maybe they still help you with the basket, but they stay with you, right? Until the end, so that the person who was already there before also gets a good experience. So how do we adjust the mindset? I think that's one of the things that if we are able to do, all of us, from the ones who's looking for the service,
yes,
for the ones who's giving the service, I think the feedback then also will come in. Because sometimes you collect a feedback.
Yes.
And you really want to go and champion it and improve, implement it, but you look how much it takes, and how long it's going to take.
Yes.
Because there's also change management sometimes that it implies,
yes,
or product development. So you have to understand, for example, if we collect feedback for us, we have to have an action plan. Who's involved?
Yes.
How do we get them on board? What change requests do we need to do? Is this as simple as just us changing internal processes, or is it something that requires more deeply than that?
Yes.
It could mean that we need to look at the current processes and think about what the customer is saying.
Yes.
And validate and show where we can improve, looking at what I was talking about on the touch points.
Yes.
So, but you have to be intentional. And one of the things that hopefully we'll see in the coming years,
yes,
is that CX is given that seat at the table.
Yes.
To be able to advocate for the customer.
Yes.
And really help the business rethink on how we are serving the customer.
Yes.
Because when I was at Irembo, I used to tell people, I don't need to know technology to know whether something is working or not.
Yes.
all I need to think is like the customer. So if it's simple,
Yeah.
then I know it's going to
It's
work.
going to be simple for them.
Yeah. So, and then that's the thing about the CX teams. You
Yes.
don't need to know about exactly into the details of the technical aspect of the business
Yes.
or the product. Yes, you need to know them, but you also need to know how does it impact your customer
Yes.
and how, where, and when you can help on improving them. Yeah.
Yeah. Lily, you've literally dived so deep into that. And I really feel that I think the most important thing for our audience today would be is how do I measure impact, especially when it comes to customer experience? Because there are many people out there that they get the feedback and we have all these scores, the NPS, the CSAT, and you're like, okay, beyond just the metrics, how do I know that a customer actually was satisfied when they interacted with my brand or with my service? How are you doing it, especially in the financial sector?
Of course, we use the still the same KPIs.
Yeah.
But you look at how many people that stay with you and transact with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a regularly basis.
Yeah.
That also indicates whether people are still looking at your products as value.
Yes.
Value added. So you don't just look at the NPS is an indicator of how your brand is looked at.
Yes.
The CSAT is how people are happy with the product.
Yes.
One of other things we measure is customer effort score.
Yes. Yes.
We want to know how much effort does it take for you to receive a service.
Yes.
So that we can go back and say, the customer have said for loan it's at 20%.
Yes.
So we need to make sure that we look at why. Yeah. But for me, and we need to also look at the return on impact, on initiatives we do, on those processes we look at and change.
Yeah.
Are our customers now, when you go back and do the survey, I think do they say that things have changed? Do they see that we have done something and it actually is positive?
Yes.
Or did it affect it in a negative way?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's that constant looking at how are people interacting with you. It's an indication.
Yeah.
How many people are actually transacting.
Yes.
And then also reviewing those CSAT and NPS regularly. Because if you improve, people will move also, will give you a different rating.
Yes.
If you do it regularly, it's not an annual thing as, what do you call it? Tumuhango.
No, I like the fact that even when you come into this conversation, you said that you've got to be intentional when you're collecting this feedback. Yes. And I think that goes down to having a clear objective as to why you're collecting it. And even how you formulate your questions in your survey forms. Because I feel like those are some of the challenges that many people that are championing most of these feedback surveys find. And it's all about, okay, did I ask the right questions? Did I get the right sentiment from the client? So as a CX leader, which I feel is something you might want to share your mind on, looking at where we're headed and looking at where the country is, Rwanda, and also the continent itself. In 10 years, what do you think would success look like in terms of service delivery?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of work to be done, but I think the work has already started, which is good. I think the awareness is there. That's where usually things get started.
Yeah.
Now, the next step is, do we now understand? Are we all on the same page?
Yes.
On what is the customer experience? What is the experience?
Yes.
How do we create user experience? How do we really understand the customer? How do we do the journey mapping? How do we look at service excellence? How do we measure all those things? Because there's a lot of other things you can measure.
You're right.
Yeah. How do we look at quality standards? If you have different branches, are we all speaking the same
The same language, yes.
So now that's really what we should look at as well in the next phases. So 10 years from now, for me, I think the dream.
Yeah.
Let's maybe talk about the dream.
Yeah.
For me, the dream is that Rwanda really now, we are all at the international standard where the experience you can see, you can feel. It's not something you have to ask for. And it's something that is now ingrained in every business,
Yes.
in even government. And then I think for speaking, you talked about governance. I think citizen experience is one of the very most important thing that that will also indicate and help us move with the private sector. So
Yes.
both of them have to go
Hand in hand.
hand in hand.
Yes.
So for me, that's really the dream. How
Yeah.
do we elevate customer experience to that standard where leaders in customer experience are able to make those changes,
Yes.
and they are felt, they are seen, and people really are enjoying interacting with businesses.
Yes.
It's not always the complaints and the frustration.
Yes.
Things are really instinct, you know.
Yes. Yes.
How we interact with people. People should not be asking for gifts online. People should be surprised.
Yes, I get that.
You know, there's that thing that we should be thinking, how do we delight you? Yeah. And it shouldn't be something difficult or being forced from the customer. Yeah.
It has to come from you.
Yes.
And I think that's proactive service. So, I mean, we've really talked about a lot. And what I hear about what you've just said in terms of the vision is customer experience being institutionalized, where it's not a department like many say, but it's at every every moving part of an organization, every moving part of a nation. That means leaders are going to be a very key part in that journey. So as we come to a wrap, I would love to understand, Lily, if there's anything you feel like anyone at the wheel of any organization leading in the decision-making unit out there, you feel like they might need to know about customer experience, because like you said, we need a seat in the boardrooms, we need a seat in the senior management meetings. What would you tell someone who's experiencing pushback, especially from people at the top?
One is don't give up.
Yes.
I think that's one. That's a very good question. I really think that in today's environment, because we were talking about the future, now
Yes.
let's bring it back to the realities.
Yes.
I think we are at a space where the transition is happening, and when usually the transition is happening, the change management sometimes is a challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, for people to understand, well, what do we need this now? What do you need this to? But it's also for us as leaders in CX to show those values. Yeah, and it's as simple as when we were talking about the survey we politely and excitingly collect.
Yes.
What are we doing with them? Has anything out of that has changed the way, has brought impact to the business?
Yes.
Because there's one thing about doing reports, and we all sometimes get good at those, but what those reports speaks about.
Yes.
Does it touch on return on investment?
Yes.
How does it help the business? So CX as a strategy enabler should also add value to the business. And that's how you really get the seat at the table.
Yes.
What are you doing to show that you, even that contact center, by the way, can be a source of business. But are we thinking of that? Yeah. Sometimes we get caught up in the budget. But if you can turn out things around and show that even though, yes, they have to hire you, they have to pay the team, but there's some sort of revenue you're bringing back on the table because now the customer interactions are up. The revenue is increasing because of the things, the processes you have changed.
Yes.
The business mentality is moving, slowly changing. I think we should also look at how do we create value.
Liliose, thank you for sharing such great insights, especially in what leaders in customer experience are supposed to hear. To our listeners, this brings us to a wrap. And what I would define as ideas that have been sparked off as Lily was sharing her experience, you might want to pick one or two things for you to implement. And feel free to share in the comments what you feel was your takeaway from this podcast. And I implore you to sign up, subscribe, like, share with those you feel might find the conversation very interesting. And until next time, thank you for following the Voice of CX Africa. Bye for now.